What if a single line of bad code could actually bring the global economy to its knees? It sounds like something out of a movie, right? Well, it's not. It's the new reality of finance. Today, we're going to dig into how cyber resilience has absolutely skyrocketed from a back office IT problem to a main event in the boardroom, becoming a defining feature of who wins and who loses in the market. So just picture the global financial system for a second. It's this huge, intricate network, right? Kind of like a digital circulatory system for the whole world. Every single day, trillions of dollars are pumping through its arteries. It's so fast, so efficient. It's something we all just take for granted. But what happens when that flow just stops? Imagine a massive pileup on that digital highway, a jam that sends ripples across the entire globe. Well, this isn't a hypothetical question anymore, because this is exactly what went down in November 2023. A ransomware attack hit a US branch of ICBC, one of the biggest banks on the planet. And all of a sudden, the US Treasury market, the absolute bedrock of global finance, was disrupted. Just one cyber incident sent shockwaves through the whole system. It was a massive wake-up call that the digital plumbing we all rely on is now a serious systemic risk. And that brings us to a really critical realization. This wasn't just some IT glitch. No way. The ICBC attack was a symptom of a much, much bigger shift in what financial threats even look like. To really get it, let's take a quick look at how these threats have been evolving. If you look back over the past decade or so, you see this really clear pattern of escalation. Back in 2016, the Swift heist showed us how financial messaging itself could be turned into a weapon. Then you have the Equifax and Capital One breaches, which exposed just how fragile our data and cloud providers were. Each one of these events was a lesson, building up to that ICBC attack, which proved that a single point of failure could threaten the whole shebang. The attacks just kept getting bigger, smarter, and way more systemic. So, the bottom line is this. We've crossed a major threshold. What used to be seen as just an isolated tech problem is now understood for what it is, a systemic shock, something that has the power to actually destabilize the entire global financial market. The game has totally, completely changed. Okay, so if the threat itself is now systemic, how on earth do you build a defense that's actually strong enough? Well, it's going to take a whole new playbook, a new way of thinking about what it means to build a digital fortress. And the key idea in this new playbook is something called cybersecurity posture. Now, this isn't just about firewalls or antivirus software. It's a much bigger, more holistic view of an organization's readiness. It includes everything from how seriously the board takes this stuff to the skills of your people. It's not just about stopping an attack. It's about how well you can spot one, respond, and bounce back when it inevitably happens. So a really strong posture has 6 key dimensions. Let's cover the first 3. First up, governance and culture. This means cyber risk isn't just for the tech folks anymore. It's a regular topic in the boardroom. Second is technology and architecture, basically using layers of security so if one defense falls, another is there to back it up. And third, monitoring and detection. You can't fight what you can't see, right? So you need continuous threat intelligence to find those weak spots. The next 3 dimensions are just as crucial. You've got response and recovery, which is all about having a solid, well-practiced plan for when things go sideways. Fifth is third-party management. This is huge because your fortress is only as strong as your suppliers. A breach at one software vendor could ripple through hundreds of banks. And finally, there's talent. In this fight, the people are everything. And frankly, there's a global war for skilled cybersecurity pros right now. Now, here's the thing. Building this fortress isn't just about playing defense. And this is where the story gets really interesting, because a strong cybersecurity posture is now becoming a powerful, powerful source of competitive advantage. I love this slide because it perfectly captures this massive strategic shift. The old way of thinking was that cybersecurity was just a cost center, a tax you had to pay to stay in business. But the new reality? It's that cyber resilience is a value driver. It's a strategic investment that doesn't just prevent losses, it actively builds trust with your customers, your investors, and even your regulators. And the investment here is just massive. Global spending on information security is projected to hit $240 billion a year by 2026. To put that in perspective, that is more than the entire GDP of many countries. This isn't just companies throwing money at a problem. It's a strategic shift of capital into an area that now directly drives business value. And here's the payoff, plain and simple. Think about it. Say 2 banks are competing for a huge corporate client. The bank that can prove its cyber defenses are rock solid is way more likely to win that business. Why? Because that client knows their data and their money are safe. That is how resilience turns into real ROI, leading to everything from lower borrowing costs to a higher stock price.
So, what does all this mean for the future of finance? It means that cyber resiliency is becoming a fundamental pillar of the entire system.
This quote really says it all. For decades, a bank's stability was judged on two things: how much capital it had and how much cash it could access, liquidity. Well, regulators are now officially adding a third pillar to that list: cyber resilience. It's now seen as being just as critical to a bank's health as the money in its vaults. And this isn't just happening in one place, it's a global movement. Now, while the goal is the same everywhere, a more resilient system, different regions are taking their own paths. The US is focused on disclosure rules, forcing companies to be open about their risks. The EU created a whole legal framework called DORA. Over in Asia, the big focus is on stress testing the system. It's a global effort, just with different local flavors. Which leaves us with one last big question to think about. We've seen that resilience is no longer just a shield. It's a strategic weapon that builds trust, cuts costs, and creates real value. So, in a world where almost every risk is becoming a digital risk, maybe resilience has become the ultimate asset.